Okay, so when we had left off, you guys were talking to Stamets. You guys had gone back in time to get Discovery's expertise and assistance when it came to installing a spore drive. The spore drive being necessary to travel across dimensions into the mirror universe and stop your mirror universe counterparts from taking advantage of the Omega technology that they've stolen. Uh, After a brief conversation with Captain Pike to let him know what was going on, you guys went down to engineering, and indicated that there might be a problem with the plan to install the spore drive, namely that it requires a pilot uh, to undergo rather extensive modifications that are, strictly speaking, illegal by Federation standards. So that's where we pick up.
Bianca's already kind of like brainstorming ideas, like, well, maybe we should try this, or try this, or try this, or try this, as she's looking at Stamets' arm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that.
Not that. Not what.
Not because he's rolled up his sleeve and he's showing her the port.
Right. Yes. So maybe something a little less invasive than that. Although, again, kind of hard to tell what those options might be.
Right. Well, she's seen her fair share of, like, you know, working at Utopia Planitia. I'm sure she
Yeah.
looked into the R&D and
Cybernetic
of the thing.
modifications are not a new thing to Starfleet. I mean, witness Geordi LaForge's visor technology, and that was 40 years ago or longer.
Right, right. Just she's just kind of like, and the idea that immediately pops into her head is the neural interface,
Okay.
but she doesn't voice it at this time.
Uh, Stamets goes on to explain uh, that in addition to the implants, he also had himself injected with tardigrade DNA. I think it was tardigrade. It was either tardigrade or
Yeah,
it was
it
the
was
mycelial
tardigrade.
DNA. I
It
don't
was the
remember which.
it was the tardigrade,
Okay.
because they had to hook the tardigrade up to the
That's what I thought.
yeah. Um,
And that's the part that would be particularly problematic.
well, Bianca's definitely thinking, I hope we haven't made the trip for nothing.
Hmm.
But we also have 150 years of technological advancement over these guys, so
That's true.
maybe we can make something work.
We can't pitch in because we're not there.
Yep.
No, like, Bianca plans on bringing this all back, and she just says to Stamets, she's just like, Commander Stamets, would you be willing to brief my scientists and engineers on the basics?
He says, given the circumstances, it might be best if I prepare a briefing that you could present to your crew. That way it's indirect, uh, minimizes the amount of contact that we have between the two crews.
Stamets doesn't know where I'm from.
Doesn't he? Oh, okay.
No. No, remember he was like,
In which case, I'll backtrack a little bit and say that it's Pike who gives that suggestion. Uh, Stamets says, well, it'll be missing the interactive factor, but I can put together a 101 level briefing.
very well. And she just turns to Pike and she just goes, we should probably figure out personnel.
Your ready room or mine? That's a joke. Let's head back to my ready room.
And she was just kind of like, oh, I was gonna say.
Okay, so you guys head back up to the ready room on the Discovery.
Do we transport there or do we?
Yeah, I'll say that you guys transport there. Again, just kind of minimizing the level of contact with any other members of the crew.
And Bianca takes out a pad and starts kind of keying through her top engineers and scientists. And in terms of like kind of picking out who's going to be working with
Mm-hmm.
the Discovery crew.
Okay.
And she just says, she goes, I want to apologize for earlier.
For what exactly? And Pike's kind of going
For
through his crew roster while you're talking.
she's for not trusting your judgment on who should be briefed.
Don't worry about it. It's a little thing. We got it resolved. We moved on.
I know, but going forward, I'm not going to ask you to lie to your crew or to insult their intelligence. I'm going to trust you to tell them what they need to know, because it's not like we're going to be able to hide what Dauntless is.
That's fair. I appreciate that.
You know what's at stake.
I'm sorry, say that again.
You know it's at stake, so I trust you to plan accordingly.
I appreciate that. It's just growing pains, isn't it? Just when you're a new captain, it's sometimes hard to tell where the boundaries are or where they should be.
She kind of like looks over the pad, kind of like, really, and then she's like, that obvious, huh?
Well, I don't know the exact particulars of your uniform, but there's a little bit of green around the collar, he says, and he just kind of smirks.
You don't know how true that is. You know, it hasn't been long since I put on the 4th pip. Times like these when it feels really heavy.
Yep, yeah. The captain rank is when Starfleet starts expecting you to save the universe. It's a tall order, but they don't give it to people who aren't worthy of it.
That's what they keep telling me. And I don't have doubts in my abilities necessarily. It's just there's
How
no
long
way
you
you can prepare for something like this.
say that again?
There's no way you can prepare for something.
Not for something like this. Each Starfleet mission comes with its own set of parameters and challenges, and after a while, you learn which parts of it are familiar, and more importantly, you learn where your crew's strengths and weaknesses are, and you learn how to best put those strengths to use. You know, you surrounded yourself with competent people, more than competent, really, with stellar people. because Starfleet doesn't attract anything less than the best.
That I know. I have every confidence in them. Just, sometimes I feel like I can't be fallible. I can't be
Say that again?
fallible.
Like you can't be fallible?
Like I can't be fallible. Like I have to be everything. It's hard to describe, I guess, but
Well,
you probably know what I'm talking about.
no Starfleet officer is infallible. That doesn't change no matter what rank you're sitting at. And he puts down one pad, pulls up another, types a sequence of things into it, and turns it around and shows it to you. He says, "See that big old red F in astrometrics,
Physics.
astrophysics? Thank you."
Bianca just chuckles and she goes, "You know what my major was at the academy?
No, in fact, I don't.
Astrophysics."
Well, when I need a tutor, I guess I know who to call. And yet, here I am in the captain's chair of a starship that can travel 50,000 light years in the blink of an eye. Do I need to know? Would it be nice to know a little bit more about astrophysics? Sure it would. But I've also got Commander Saru. I've also got Commander Burnham. I've got a dedicated team of astrophysicists on this ship, all of whom are more than happy to make up for any weakness on my part. And they, in turn, trust me to make the right decision to get them home at the end of the day.
Well, that's what it comes down to.
It is. Everyone on this ship can afford to be a little bit fallible because everyone's got someone else on this team who's got their back.
That's true. I knew about the F, by the way.
Still on my personnel records 100 years later. That figures.
I figured I had to part of the reason why I wanted to speak with you alone was because I'd done my homework. Yeah.
Because you didn't want to embarrass me about the astrophysics score with the rest of the crew. It's too late. They already know.
No, not that. It's just it's funny. Just funny. You think you can know a person by going through their records, but there's all these little things that you don't expect.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, file doesn't exactly prepare you for a good sense of humor or just little things that make a person a person.
Well, not having studied your personnel file, I'm afraid you've got me at a bit of a disadvantage. So, tell me about Captain West. What's your background?
It's
I mean,
maybe a bit risky, don't you think?
what's that?
Maybe a bit risky, don't you think?
Yeah, good point. So, generalize. You can tell me you've flown starships. If you were a science officer, or
I flew. In fact, that's how I started out on Dauntless, was I was her helm officer.
okay.
I've been flying since I was a kid. Been sailing since before that. And
You sail. Tell me about that.
I was on the Academy sailing team,
Okay.
beat the Vulcan Science Academy in the Federation Cup. That was quite the achievement at the time.
That is the achievement. The Vulcans, for being from a desert planet, they know their sails. It's kind of scary.
Like I said, it's before I was allowed to touch the thrusters on a shuttle pod, it was, kind of what I could do at the time.
Hmm.
And it's relaxing, just you and the water and the wind. But I digress.
Well, a little,
And
but go ahead.
she pushes her pad over to him.
What's on the pad?
Just like heavily redacted personnel records, just kind of like the people that she thinks are going to be working on the project.
Gotcha. And who do you think that's going to be?
Dash, definitely to
Yeah.
sell. Anjar, Sapphic, and Catalea.
Okay.
I don't know, what is Catalea's specialty in?
Um, Astrophysics, I believe, and astrometrics.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if they were more like a biology or whatever. There's probably a couple biologists on that list too, just because it's fours.
Mm-hmm.
But basically,
Would you
all
have
she's giving
19
him
on that list?
Yes, 19 will be on the list. Basically, just giving faces and names
Gotcha.
and positions and what their specialties are. Nothing like
Okay. So
too revealing.
Pike's looking through this, and he says, "There's a couple species here I don't recognize."
Oh, and I was born and raised on Earth, but I'm not.
You're not? You're not what?
I figure it's probably polite to disclose the fact that I'm telepathic. I'm a beta zoid.
Okay. Good to know. Probably comes in handy when you're talking to other starship captains. And he just kind of smirks.
I guess I'm a cyborg. Close enough. It's got Borg in the name.
And I do not disclose the species names. Because at this point, they don't know what Romulans look like.
That's fair.
So.
They can assume I'm a modified Vulcan. That's fine.
Or, yeah, you're just...
Well, or they can just not ask questions. Like
right.
Pike may have lampshaded the fact that he doesn't recognize a couple of these species, but knowing the temporal prime directive is involved, knowing that knowledge could distort the timeline, he's not going to ask too many questions where he doesn't absolutely need to know the answer.
Valid.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not getting the whole picture on people, and that's for a reason.
Yeah. It does. He does seem a little bit taken aback just from the fact that you guys have a dolphin on the crew, though. Like he wasn't quite expecting that, but he's rolling with it.
And yes, we do have a dolphin.
Yeah, I noticed that. Be interesting to.
Is Catalea male or female?
Female.
Female. She's actually one of my best scientists.
Well, if I. Oh.
She helped me make first contact one time. That was.
I almost wish I could compartmentalize this knowledge because now I'm going to want to have a dolphin on my crew.
Don't get any ideas.
Well, I know I'm not allowed to.
No, you're not.
Here's all of this awesome knowledge you can't have.
All right. Well, I think we've got a good list
I
of
think
crew
he's
rosters.
probably showed me who he's gonna have working on Dauntless.
Yeah. Um, and it's going to be a relatively small crew. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
primarily, uh, primarily just Stamets and his chief engineer. Actually,
Yes, I love her. Oh, she's not the chief engineer. She's
she's
just
not the
an
chief engineer. Sorry.
It's okay.
No Tilly. Oh.
Tilly's
was
busy
laughing
being
earlier
infected.
about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tilly was kind of going crazy around this episode, wasn't she?
No, not really near in this episode. It was more the next one, but
That's true.
I completely forgot I was on push to talk.
congratulations. No one has heard a thing you've said.
I'm just gonna stay in my corner and remember this time and pretend I haven't been talking to myself for the past 5 minutes.
Oh God, I hate that.
Oh no!
And the thing was, everybody was responding in the perfect places, so I thought I was carrying a conversation.
Oh no! That's the
Well,
worst.
Do you want to summarize? Or
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna sit over here and be quiet now.
oh.
It's okay. I'm just the most important thing is I have no idea what's happening in Discovery, and I'm just gonna be clueless about it. So it's okay.
that works.
Although just and she just kind of like, does she notice that he's in a bit of pain right now?
He's not necessarily trying to hide it, but it's also not at the surface of his thoughts. Let's make that an insight command roll. I'm going to make the difficulty 1.
Okay.
And this will be a good test to make sure the character sheets still work.
Right.
Okay, made the difficulty. Yeah, there's a little bit of pain going on in his lower chest area, but he's mostly kind of tuned it out.
And she just kind of like cocks her head to the side, and she just says, well, at least hopefully this will give you a few days to feel better.
He just kind of looks up at you and meets your gaze and says, "Is that from the personnel report or is that your telepathy?"
You're favoring your right side a bit.
Yeah, jumping on a phaser will do that.
Oh.
Long story.
Oh. Sounds like you, though. She just kind of like holds his gaze for a little bit and smirks.
Once again, I'm at a disadvantage. So, you're going to have to figure out who on your ship is going to pilot that spore drive once you've got it installed.
Yes.
Plan on talking to your crew about that? And you can tell there's no judgment in that question. He's just really kind of angling to find out what your angle is, or to find out what your approach is going to be.
If you had access to my personnel file, you would know that at one point I was a test pilot. I'm familiar with these types of risks. I'm willing to take them.
You're not a pilot anymore, though. You're a starship captain. I'm not going to tell you how to make decisions on your ship, but a starship needs its captain.
We'll figure something out.
Of that, I have no doubt.
If there isn't anything further.
Say that again?
If there isn't anything further.
No, you should probably go ahead and get back to your ship.
Indeed. Like I said, how you brief your crew, that's up to you.
We'll take care of it. The people who need to know will know, and next time you contact me, we should be ready to get started.
Sounds good.
All right, well, don't be a stranger.
She gets up and she goes, and she just offers her hand out.
He takes it and shakes it. Captain West, it'll be good working with you.
Looking forward to it. And she taps her comm badge.
Which she's never seen before because they use the flippy thing.
Yep. Which just means he'll be that much more surprised when when Lieutenant Tyler goes and does it.
Goes west to Dauntless.
That would be probably Bash.
Or Jonas.
Bosch, but
yeah.
Jonas.
Oh.
Sorry, what?
It's okay.
Who am I?
Sorry, I was distracted by someone talking to me in my ear.
Oh.
Well, I hope they were saying something pleasant.
They were asking me what game tonight was. I was like,
Gotcha.
no, it's not my D&D game, it's my Star Trek game.
Oh no, we lost. Oh, there's.
She's back.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, the captain was just hailing the Dauntless, so I figured you'd be the one to pick up there, Jonas.
Yes, Captain. Jonas here.
One to beam back.
Alright. Ready to beam.
Okay. The transporter effect takes hold, and that was a bit loud, but that's all right.
That was nice.
But in Bianca's, you are back on the bridge of the Dauntless.
So she sends out a memo to everybody who she's going to need to meet the Discovery engineering and science crew. Like, I imagine she has a plan, like, we're going to meet them in this transporter room, and we're going to take them directly to engineering, and through this way, then that is the least contaminating way.
Basically, just kind of emptying out the ship and clearing a path for them to go straight to engineering. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we having a staff meeting before that? To talk about what you learned and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably brief everybody who is going to be on that team.
I'm sure Reese has some things that he wants to talk about. So.
Reese has many things he wants to talk about.
Many things.
So many things. But there's only so many hours in a day, and in a year, and in a lifetime.
But
So-
anyway, so yeah, we'll just gather everybody in the briefing room.
Okay.
Oh, that's a discovery.
We'll let
Yep,
Jonas
hang
in
on.
on this too because he's got some engineering know-how.
There we go.
Yes, my nice engineering +4.
Captain.
19. Go ahead and have a seat.
Glad to see you back, Captain.
It was productive. I have been briefed by their scientist that is spearheading the research behind their spore drive. And we have quite a bit to talk about. And she basically, like, I don't want to go through all the technobabble on the spore drive, but she basically, like, shows the presentation and just kind of like, this is how it works. And
Ship
is
goes
how
spinny,
they
spinny,
current-
then drop out of space.
and then this is how, like, I don't get the spinny part. I don't get why I did that.
That's okay. It's not like Dauntless is going to be able to do that with its primary hull.
Right. But, you know, then she talks about, like, there's a challenge here because we're going to have to figure out how to actually navigate using it.
They must have a rather sophisticated interface in order to do so.
Well, currently what they're using is genetically modified human plugged directly into the drive. Which, during the Klingon War they just got out of, it was convenient for Starfleet to ignore the moral implication of what that might present. I'm hoping that with our 150 or so years of development that we might be able to come up with a different solution.
You
But
have to admit, it makes sense being directly plugged in.
yeah, I was thinking that too. And actually, I'd want to talk to you about possibly seeing if a neural interface might be something that could work. I don't know. I don't know enough about this technology.
Would this be considered ancient technology or like banned technology? How old is this technology?
150 years. Not quite ancient.
Okay, I was just wondering if I could, I don't know, think over on it with my ancient technology focus.
Honestly, Captain, a neural interface is possible, but you would need some sort of key to unlock it. And if the key is genetic manipulation, a sample of that genetic code would go a long way in providing things. I'm not suggesting we genetically modify ourselves or whomever undergoes this process, but a facsimile of a manipulation through nanotechnology or some sort of low chained artificial intelligence could be possible.
I will
It
put
would
you. I will put
take-
you on heading that up.
It would take time.
Yes, it would definitely take time.
And it also raises the question of, well, sentience.
I'd rather not mess with artificial intelligence as of yet, as an option.
What was the original ability that they enhanced themselves with?
They used a tardigrade, a giant tardigrade.
Odd.
Everything about this technology is odd.
No.
But we'll have to get with Reese and see what the implications would be if we had to resort to genetic manipulation. They've given us pretty broad authority on this mission. I want to do this as by the book as possible.
Yeah, I believe his exact words were anything to make sure that we succeed.
But that said, I definitely want to explore options that don't require genetic manipulation. That would be illegal. I don't want us to be too comfortable with breaking the rules, if that makes sense. We're already breaking a fair few.
Understood, Captain. What can we do to help?
Could we bring their pilot to our ship and then return him?
He will be part of the team that will be transporting aboard.
But could he not just pilot us into the mirror universe and then back again?
I don't know if that would work because he would be having to plug into a spore drive that's being put into our ship, and our technology isn't exactly the same as his in this timeline.
No, but it would simply be a matter of adapting our technology using their technique. It would be more efficient. It would perhaps make the process easier. And if all we need is, as they say, a pilot, and he has the ability to do so, why not use what we have rather than force ourselves to come up with a new method?
The only downside I could see to that is if we do use him and we do make it to the mirror universe and something happens and he's injured or worse, killed, the ramifications of him, the timeline could be very bad.
That's true.
And I can't ask Captain Pike to spare him.
Can I do a roll to see if using like my neurology and my nanotechnology and all of those focuses to see if there is a way to medically mimic some sort of thing that Stamets has going on?
I'll say yes. The difficulty is going to be
Okay.
3.
Oh, okay.
Is there any way that I could assist?
In this case, not really, because this this is basically 19 searching their own knowledge base.
Okay.
In addition, I'm going to spend one threat to increase your complication range.
All right. You said difficulty 3.
Yeah. Now you guys do have 5 momentum.
All right. I'm gonna, if it's cool with everyone, I'm gonna buy a dice.
Go for it.
And yep, we're seeing your nanobiology focus is going to apply here.
Okay. And what am I rolling? Insight medicine or reason medicine?
I'm going to say reason medicine here.
Okay. Do I want to use my value yet?
Well, this is just to theorize if it's possible, right?
Correct.
You're not actually. So
Yeah.
I would probably wait to use that until we're actually possibly doing it. Unless
How
you
much
feel
would-
the need.
How much would it be to buy another dice?
2 momentum to buy a second, a fourth die.
Are you guys cool if I do that?
Yeah, go for it. This is an important role.
All right. Difficulty of 3, complication range of 2.
Six successes.
Yeah, I'll
You
take
earn
the
your
6.
momentum back. Nicely done. Okay.
Give me a second. My eyes roll back in my head.
Let's see. Genetic recombination in and of itself is not difficult. The Federation has had the technology for since its inception, and even before that, in the 21st and 22nd centuries, Earth was, even Earth was dealing with genetic recombination. The Romulan Empire dealt substantially in the genetic, both recombination and breeding programs. The Vulcan genetics program goes back millennia. The trick here is creating a kind of recombination that would expire such that the genetic changes aren't permanent. That's something you think you could do with nanotechnology. Basically, you would be programming nanoprobes to simulate, or either to simulate or to stimulate a genetic change, and then to undo that change after a set period of time.
Can I do that on someone other than myself?
Given the number of successes that you rolled, yes, you can do that on someone other than yourself.
Ooh, damn, that roll. I just came back.
Would I know if it would be more difficult to do it on someone other than myself?
It would be somewhat more difficult because your body is Borg, basically.
Yeah, it's meant to adapt.
Your body is more receptive to nanoprobes. That being said, as Borg technology itself demonstrates, almost any humanoid body can be made receptive to nanoprobes.
This seems like a bad idea.
That's the kicker. The risk factor is greater for anyone who is not assimilated for precisely that reason. Because for anybody else, you would be introducing nanoprobes into a pristine ecosystem, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. So, like, I think of all of this, and I just kind of tilt my head a bit to the side. There is a potential solution or option that I can provide medically.
And as you open your eyes back up and start talking to this, uh, the room kind of takes a bit of a Gaussian blur to it, and it takes you a few seconds for your
Oh.
implant to readjust.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure Bianca picks up on this, right?
That depends on whether 19 is trying to hide it.
Yeah, 19 would try and hide it.
In which case, without an opposed check, Bianca would not pick up on it.
Okay. Bianca's
Uh,
not probing that deeply.
so yeah, I will open my eyes and kind of shake my head to clear it. Sorry. I have an idea.
Great.
And it's one that I don't think anyone will like, but it's an idea.
Well, we're coming up with a lot of solutions that we don't like on this mission.
I can modify myself to mimic the effects of the genetic change using my nanoprobes.
Unfortunately, the one stipulation I was given for this mission was not to plug you into the spore drive.
By whom?
Admiral Tatachesko.
And speaking as your lawyer, I am really, really not going to defend you if you decide to assimilate the Spore network.
I have no desire to assimilate the Spore network. I have no active assimilation abilities.
Nanoprobes. He just does the aliens as nanoprobes.
I would feel more distressed introducing my nanoprobes into someone who is not exposed to them.
Well, I think either way, it would mean introducing nanoprobes to the spore network, and I don't know.
That's gonna be a hell of a no.
Yeah. You don't need to tell me that, Reese.
I know. I do have to tell them that, though.
Well, there could potentially be another way to do it using a machine or some sort of engineering savvy that I don't have. I just think hooking up a person to a drive is dangerous.
That makes
Hooking
sense.
up a Borg to the drive is even more dangerous, potentially for other life forms.
Do we have any information or understanding on how the spore drive actually uses the network to travel?
Captain, and this is Anjar speaks up. Captain, what if we employed some sort of filtering system, like a biogenic filter between either 19 or whoever's piloting the ship and the spore drive itself? That might be able to filter out any nanoprobes that would try to manifest in the off chance that there was fluid to fluid contact. I don't think cross contamination would be an issue, but we could still take steps to mitigate it.
I have a question. What was the purpose? How did this tardigrade actually integrate with the system? Like, what was its purpose?
Navigation, from what I understand. It's
Well, I
not
mean,
like you can just like there's something about its genetic code that allows it to navigate the spore network.
okay, but what do we know specifically? Like, is it functioning as some sort of interface? Is it acting like, say, for instance, could we, instead of using a biological component, could we use a hologram, maybe?
Um, given the briefing that you guys have from Stamets, you do know that what was originally the tardigrade and what was later Stamets acts as basically a supercomputer for interfacing between the navigation system on the Discovery and the Spore network.
So is that like in the documents in front of us?
Yes. I mean, Bianca gave you guys all access to that briefing, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, according to this, like, this tardigrade was used as basically a supercomputer. I mean, our computers are 150 years more advanced than theirs. I mean,
There is
I'm pretty sure.
uh,
Go ahead, Don.
let's see, 19 and Jonas, let me have you guys give me an insight engineering check. Actually, for Jonas,
Whoa.
for Jonas, it'll be insight con.
Would any of my focuses apply?
Helm operations, I'd say is going to apply here, or astronavigation. Either one of those will apply.
Am I assisting or am I doing a separate role?
You're doing a separate role. I'm going to make the difficulty here too. However, I'm going to say that your nanobiology focus would apply here.
Okay. And the complication range is back down to 1?
Is back down to 1, yes.
Is everyone okay if I grab a die? Oh no.
Yeah, go ahead if you need a die.
Yeah, I would feel comfortable for cautious to grab a
Okay.
die.
Go ahead. Four successes. Nicely done.
I did not make my...
Okay, so Jonas, given the advances in navigation systems in the last 150 years, you think it may be possible that Dauntless's main computer core is up to the challenge. That being said, it would probably take almost all of Dauntless's computing power to actually do it. So any non-essential systems related to the ship's main computer would have to be taken offline before a jump.
It's a good thing we have a tiny little ship in the butt of our big ship with its own computer core we can supplement things with.
It's also a good thing that Dauntless, much like the Galaxy class before it, actually has several computer cores, but one of those computer cores is going to have to dedicate itself entirely to the Spore Jump, which means other non-essential systems are still going to have to be taken offline.
I'll relay that to the captain. Captain, the computer core could handle this, but any non-essential systems would need to be shut down in the process before we made a jump.
And 19, as you're listening, you're hearing the words coming out of Jonas's mouth, but it's almost like a jumble to you. You're not able to make sense of anything that's coming out of his mouth.
Cool. This is fine.
As far as you could tell, he was talking about, jamming electronic toaster strudels.
Just don't forget to add the oil sauce on top.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit there.
Well, that's probably the sanest option we've thought of. And it'll take computer core power. But with what I have in mind in terms of going into the mirror universe, we would be hanging back anyway. So
Captain?
we could theoretically regain the power that was spent on the jump. All right.
Were you going to say something, Jenny?
I have a thought. I'm trying to figure out how to word it properly because I'm trying to figure out how to say it properly because I don't know if it makes sense.
I mean, it won't make sense to 19 at all. They're just going to hear chocolate banana hammock ice cream. So
That's my favorite flavor.
19 is having a bad day.
Okay, so Jonas is wondering, after everything that's been said, how there needs to be genetic modification, how it would take a lot of the computer processing power to make the jump. If he were to volunteer to be genetically modified to be able to use the spore drive, would he be able to make the jump easier by being able to use his listening ability?
You were told not to listen.
Not to listen on the other side. Not on this side. Those orders were not to listen while over there. It didn't say anything about over here.
Then how would we get back?
Well, I mean, once you're back in the network, you're not necessarily in the mirror universe anymore.
Yeah. Jonas is trying to figure out whether or not having his listening ability would make things any easier or any harder. And I don't know how.
It would certainly be a variable to add to the equation. Whether it would make things easier or make things more difficult or fry your brain, you can't know for sure.
Yeah.
Then again, it could fry the brain of anyone attached to it.
Does Bianca pick up this train of thought? Like, does she?
You're getting what he's putting down.
Okay, and she just kind of holds up her hand and she goes, "I want the computer to do the majority of the heavy lifting. We'll see if it needs a push, but I want to be able to rely solely on the ship's computer.
Worst case,
put the least amount of stress on people as possible."
Worst case scenario, we go find the Pathfinder and hijack Lieutenant Tardigrade for a couple of days.
Assuming Lieutenant Tardigrade would be willing.
This is true. He doesn't have nipple clamps.
So
I didn't need that image. Thanks.
That one is courtesy of Jesse Hynek. You're welcome.
All right, and then Bianca just kind of goes, "Now comes the engineering challenge of actually getting a spore drive operational on the ship. And I'm going to be assigning both of you to engineering teams to help where you can." And then she kind of looks at 19, she kind of thinks for a minute, and she goes, "Although there was something I wanted to talk to you about, 19.
Have I tuned back in at this point? Like, am I hearing this?
Yes.
Okay.
The tune out was only a momentary thing.
Okay, then I will give a nod. Of
Once
course.
we actually get into the mirror universe, I would like to try and avoid destroying the other Dauntless, if possible. We aren't like them. But I would want to figure out a way to knock out the crew of the ISS Dauntless. And at the same time, what was I thinking? Create amnesia. So they can forget everything about their spore drive. And we can wipe their computer clean.
Sir, with all due respect, this actually sounds worse than killing all of them. Never mind. Well, never mind the fact that you're violating their bodily autonomy. You're also suggesting that we find a way to knock out all those Terrans who want to kill us, by the way, wipe their memories and their computer core, and then send them on their way to still do terrible things in their universe.
There's terrible things going on in that universe all the time. You want to lead a campaign single-handedly to destroy every single one of them?
No, but I will admit it probably would be no comfort to any citizens of the Eta Carina Nebula in that timeline if our mirror counterparts are going around slaughtering them. We can't change an entire timeline. We have an opportunity to change a little bit.
Brian's channeling his inner Stowe protagonist.
I am channeling my inner Andorian. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I agree with Lieutenant Commander Thronek. I think that, well, keeping them alive is the humane, in some ways, option. Removing them from the board is in the end, universally more beneficial option.
And unspoken, more efficient.
Yeah, also more efficient. I admittedly could come up with something to help disable their systems, but to be honest, Captain, if I were to in some way modify the ship, I would suggest either cloaking technology or adapting our phasers or our torpedoes to punch through the Zealand plating that they have acquired.
That is a good point that 19 brings up. Are we even capable of damaging as much as they nearly damaged us in our last fight?
Yeah, that's part of the problem, is I don't want to have to go toe-to-toe with them in a straight-up fight if we don't have to. But this is also something that we can bring up at a later time. For now, we should figure out getting the spore drive working. It was just a thought.
Yes, sir.
Alright. And break.
All right. So where's everybody going? Where do you have people going?
I am going to have. I'm going to probably escort the Discovery team from. Probably have myself and one other person from the engineering team escort the Discovery team from Dauntless's transporter room to engineering.
Okay. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, if that's all right with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that will give me time. That will give me time, among other things, to set up the engineering asset, because I don't have a screenshot from that. So I can run into the game real quick and get that. Because that's how I do. Plus, I've got some tagalongs in the fridge that are about ready to eat.
We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yup.
Yep.
It was a
I
little
think
shorter
it's-
than 10 minutes, but
To
and
sell
Jar
sheep.
who are escorting the Discovery team, and then Jonas and 19 will be waiting for us in engineering.
okay. And engineering is where we will pick back up. In the rather cavernous engineering section of the USS Dauntless. With,
God, it's huge.
that's just, yeah, giggity.
FYI, the Valkyrie technically has one like this too.
Kind of
Yeah,
reminds me
that's
of
like
Sovereign engineering.
probably a bit bigger. I mean, you're looking at 3 decks there.
Yeah, the Sovereign I think is only 2 decks.
Yeah. I think the Galaxy was 2 also, but so
It's just upscaled because of
yeah.
Stowe. Launcher
Well,
Stowe.
it's Stowe. I mean, yeah, technical reasons because it's Stowe. It was an early map, and they had camera issues in their earlier maps, so they made their rooms cavernous to compensate. For story purposes, this is a Mark 15 warp core that is built for extended travel at slipstream velocity. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Has Pike told me what exactly they've been briefed on?
Because it's just Stamets and the chief engineer, they have been briefed on basically what your guys' technical requirements are. Pike has told them that you guys need a spore drive, has not told them where you guys are going with it. And frankly, it's probably just as well, because if he had shared that detail, Stamets may well have just noped the fuck out.
Did he tell them we're from the future?
There is no hiding that fact, so yes.
Yes. I was about to say.
The moment they beamed aboard the Dauntless, and especially when they come into main engineering, they're going to know that they are not in the 23rd century anymore.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Exactly. And Pike probably used that exact phrase because he loves his Earth phrases.
It's true.
As opposed to Citroma, who probably would have said, "We're not in Toto anymore, Kansas."
Oh,
Would I have had a chance to sort of read up on all of the like mycology and whatnot, even though I'm not like super familiar with xenobotany? I would have tried to approach it like xenobiology.
Yes, you've had time to read up on this, and honestly, you pick up on this sort of thing pretty fast anyway.
You probably can download it during your regeneration cycle.
That's true. I haven't regenerated in the last like 20 hours though. But yeah, just so that I have something to babble at Stamets about.
There's a Borg designation for the mycelial spores, interestingly.
Oh, interesting.
That being said, the Borg don't see the spores as being of any value. It's just a thing that they've encountered and therefore cataloged.
Interesting. Okay, that's getting filed away for later.
No one assimilates Stamets.
No, it's just interesting that the Borg have encountered it before. Which means that technically, if I would have known that, I could have just fucking bypassed all of this bullshit and just been like, punch in a code. This is how we do. But it's fine. I will just talk at Stamets and have him talk at me about my college. We aren't having a conversation, we're just lecturing each other.
Just about the mycelium spores, or about something else, or just in general?
Just like about mycelium in general.
Okay. He comes across as a bit of an evangelist, quite frankly. Like, if he hadn't come into main engineering and seen the warp core for himself, he probably figured that spore drive would have replaced warp drive by the 25th century.
Mm-hmm. 19 likes him immediately.
So, okay. So let me set up, as you guys are getting ready to do this, we're going to set it up as a timed challenge.
Ooh.
Which we do so infrequently that I need to look up the rules for setting it up.
Oh, was Jonas down in the engineering as well, or was he somewhere else?
It's up to, I think he's down in engineering, isn't that right, Bianca?
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Can lend your assist if need be.
Jonas is there. He's just trying to not stare at the two people and read like that. They don't belong. They don't belong. Wait, we don't belong. Oh god, and then the tech they're gonna put on our ship. It's not going to belong.
You're like that one dude in The Mummy. This is cursed. That is cursed.
That is cursed.
Except it's all true.
And it was in The Mummy, too. Because that guy was mocking someone who was just being like, it's cursed! At everything. Which,
Yep.
they were at Helmanoptera. Everything was fucking cursed.
Oh god, yeah.
All right. So here's the deal. Discovery is on a timetable, as you guys know. Actually, you guys know this better than the Discovery does. So, in a rather, not a necessarily short order, but in the matter of, we're going to say 11 hours, Discovery is going to be called away. And at that point, depending on how much work you've gotten done, that's going to represent either the fact that you guys were able to complete installation of the spore drive with the full assistance of the Discovery crew, or whether you had their assistance only part of the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, who is taking the primary role on this? It's an engineering task.
Dash.
Okay, is anyone going to support Dash on this one? Is anyone going to offer assistance?
If it's an engineering assist, I can help with that.
Cassell can also help.
Okay. I'll let one of you guys help. Too many cooks. So, who's it going to be?
Tassel can help.
Okay. I am actually going to set a resistance of 1 on this. Alright, and each instance that you guys are doing this is going to take 2 intervals. So each roll is going to represent 2 hours of time.
Oh boy, okay.
Alright, so for control engineering, the difficulty for these is going to be... Yeah, I'm going to set the difficulty at 3.
Wait, control engineering. Oh, that's not a bad roll for me.
And the ship is also helping, right?
Yes, I will let the ship assist if someone would like to roll for Dauntless.
I can roll for Dauntless, since all Bianca is doing is sitting and twiddling her thumbs and
daydreaming.
Three
I
What?
wasn't gonna say it.
halfway through the lore stuff. No, you can't touch the spores. No, you can't interact with the Discovery crew. No, you can't lust after Pike.
Is he saying this to himself, or is he saying this to Bianca?
Saying this to the entire crew.
Reese just has a clipboard that he keeps smacking people with.
I'm going to allow Dash's reverse engineering focus to apply here, I think. So,
Nice.
all right, here is the first roll. Difficulty is 3.
Do I have a focus that applies?
As to sell,
Yeah, I'm thinking either tinkering or EPS or computer.
I'll go with tinkering on this one. It's a new system. It's something that Tassel has never seen before.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, and Sarah, if you want to roll for the Dauntless.
Dauntless is what?
Dauntless, let's have that be structure engineering.
Okay. Ooh, Dauntless, baby.
Okay,
Can
you
we
guys,
can we
you
can we
guys.
buy that?
No, but given that you've succeeded on the roll, it's not going to complicate the roll per se, but I am going to take that as threat.
Okay.
All right, so we'll have Dash roll its challenge dice against the resistance. 3 effects isn't horrible, but do you guys want to have him spend a momentum to maybe roll the other 4?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
It should have indicated that it was. Okay, that's a little better. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Minus resistance of 1 means a breakthrough. And 6 points taken off of the work track.
So now we have 9 intervals left.
Yes, so 2 hours down. Dash looks like he's made significant progress on this. In fact, it looks to be about a third of the way done.
Nice.
All right. He's gonna buy a die on this one, I think, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah, go for
Oh,
it.
Okay, and Tassel and Dauntless with the assist.
By the way, Bianca's kind of keeping tabs on this from the bridge.
Okay.
And
Yeah, getting regular status updates.
Yeah, she's giving status updates to Pike as well.
Good deal.
You got to roll for the ship.
There it is. Well, at least it's not a complication.
Right? Dauntless, the Dauntless technology, the ship itself does not seem to want to cooperate with this installation procedure, and Dash is just kind of forcing it through. Like he's brought out 3 sets of toolkits and a hammer that looks like it might have once been wielded by a giant, like a Regelian or something. You're not entirely sure.
Meanwhile, Tassel is like petting like a bulkhead and talking to it softly. All of the mixed signals are getting the ship very confused.
Okay, 5 minus the 1 resistance is 4.
Can we use a momentum to lower the resistance?
Remind me on the next roll, and I'll let you guys do that.
Okay.
All right, here's roll number 3.
We're lowering the resistance.
3 successes from Dash.
Fucking of course.
Okay, you guys gain a momentum, and I'm going to take that as 2 additional threat.
You forgot to lower the time by 2 hours, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So, 7 hours, and we're going down to 5 hours with this roll. And you guys want to lower the resistance on this using the piercing effect. So that'll cost 1 momentum to lower the resistance to 0. And here goes that roll.
Really, Dash?
Do you guys want to spend the momentum? Because you guys...
Can he use a determination?
I would suggest just to use the momentum rather than his determination in case we need his determination later.
That's fair.
See.
Okay, so you'll spend a point of momentum to have him re-roll 5 dice?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. That is another breakthrough. 2 additional breakthroughs, in fact, because the work track is completed. And this is probably going to be the last roll because you guys only need 1 more, well, 2 more if 2 more points on the challenge dice to finish this up.
Nice.
Okay, again, 3 successes from Dash.
Momentum.
I'll take that first roll, so 4 successes.
So we get 2 momentum? 1 momentum.
1 momentum, which I indicated. Do you guys want to use that or save it?
Use it.
Okay, so resistance goes down to 0. And Dash brandishes the hammer right around hour number 9 because at this point he's been working on this thing for 9 hours straight and he is just about done. He's still got that smile that is uniquely Dash, not like the gruff Tellarite you guys may have encountered in the past. But seeing him smiling with this big Rigelian hammer is almost more disturbing than if he were actually grumpy. Like if he were actually like aggressive with it. He's just got this big shit-eating grin on his face and he's just like, I'm ready to finish this project up. How about you? How about you, engineering panel?
And then this is when
Computer?
Mud comes and tries to sell it.
When who what does what now?
This is when Mud comes and takes it and tries to sell it, right?
Yeah, basically.
Mud can try to get near USS Dauntless.
He got the discovery. Don't give him any temptations. But yeah, right around hour number 10, he's closed up the last panel, installed a compartment down kind of behind the warp core in this image that looks basically identical to the navigation pod that Bianca saw in the Discovery's engineering bay.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some tubes hooked up to it. There's a control panel nearby. Discovery has beamed aboard a few canisters of mycelium spores.
I'm a scan that shit.
Which obviously you guys are going to need. Yeah, 19. You're scanning it, and Stammet says, "Word of advice: set up one of your hydroponics bays. You're going to need a renewable supply."
Fascinating.
And as they're finishing up, Bianca's in the gym, by the way. She's taking out her frustration, beating up some shit. Because, she can't do anything right now.
Okay.
Reese is behind her, listing all the reasons she can't be with Pike to piss her off even more.
Oh my
I
god.
didn't know already, Reese.
Can I like after I do the scan and like Stamets makes the like kind of the joke or whatever, I'm gonna look at him and be like, so how did you manage to get it to work on
Okay, this is me asking as the GM. Get what to work exactly?
Like, I'm asking, like, basically 19 is kind of coyly trying to ask to see the injection ports on his arm.
Oh. So he says, well, at first we had a life form that was served as the navigation system, but we had some trouble with it, so I went ahead and might have injected its DNA into my bloodstream so that I could serve as the navigation device in its stead. And uh, give me a presence command roll, difficulty 1.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I know. It's basically your dump stats. Sorry, but
My target is 9, my dude. Do I have
I will let you apply your xenobiology focus.
Oh, thank you. You are a kind man.
It's relevant to the discussion.
Hey!
2 successes. And yeah, you actually you follow up the line of questioning in such a way that you're like, oh, so you genetically modified yourself, but how did you like did the navigation system just stick you in the ribs? He's like, well, yeah, the first time it did, but after that, and then he pulls up his uniform and shows you one of the implants.
May I? And I'm gonna indicate outstretch my hand.
Yeah, he offers you his arm.
Fascinating. I'm gonna scan it with my eye.
Okay, go ahead. It's control medicine, right? Yep.
Yup, control medicine.
0 difficulty. Go ahead. Okay.
1 success.
Which is all you needed. You get a bonus momentum that you can use for an obtain information momentum spent.
Yeah. I just want to know how it was made, like what kind of technology it was, like how it's hooked up to his system, all of that kind of stuff.
23rd century Federation technology, fairly Starfleet standard. It's a neural interface.
Huh.
Only plugging into his arms instead of, say, the base of his skull or his nipples.
I'm gonna kind of nod, tilt my head a bit. You're a very fascinating individual.
He just sort of gives an awkward smile and says, thanks. Speaking of implants, he says, looking at the arm.
Yes. I have some history with modification.
Oh. And that's kind of when he remembers he's probably not supposed to ask you questions about that sort of thing. And you can see another question forming on the tip of his mouth, but he just kind of stifles it.
I'm gonna lean in really close. Like, I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna lean in really close and be like, "You can ask. I just may not answer."
And basically, he's kind of examining the implants and says, "What functions do they serve?"
This one, and I point to my eye, allows me to conduct medical procedures with relative ease, and this one is a simple replacement for an arm.
What happened to your arm?
I was attacked a little while ago.
Oh.
And blasted.
Dreadfully sorry.
Well, I adapted, and you adapted similarly.
Yes, I suppose I did. He kind of breaks off, and as the chief engineer calls over to him, because it's pretty clear that they're wrapping up at this point.
I like the way that you think. I like the way you think about the universe.
Thanks. We really all are connected on levels I don't think we entirely comprehend.
There are some people who agree with you more than you know.
Well, not starship engineers, apparently.
Not these ones.
Okay, so what next for our venerable crew?
Bianca probably gets the word that they are done
Yep.
while she's working out. And she's just gonna go over to, like, the comm panel that's on the gym wall.
Okay.
She's, wearing a tank top, and she's a little glisteny. Has a towel around her neck. And she hails Captain Pike.
Pike here, go ahead.
Looks like they're done with the installation over here. We'll be sending your people back soon.
Sounds good. Everything goes smoothly?
Almost scarily so. I was half expecting for them to come up with several incompatibilities, but apparently not the case.
Good to know. And like I said, your crew's capable. I know that because they're the crew of a Federation starship, no matter what century they're in.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I should probably eat something.
Tell you what, why don't you, if you've got a couple of officers who you want to bring over with you, come over to the Discovery. I'll have the mess hall cleaned out.
I mean, I appreciate the offer, but my Jag would probably kill
You have a lawyer on your ship?
me. Yeah.
Well, I guess not everything's perfect in the 25th century, huh?
No. When is it? I don't even think there is a time when everything's gonna be perfect. But I might be able to get away.
Say that again?
I might be able to get away. I don't know if I can get away with bringing anyone with me.
Well, offer stands.
I'll see you there. What?
I'm reading the comments in the Discord right now. All right.
Bianca is going to just she's actually not gonna like shower or anything. She's just gonna like kind of wipe off
Okay.
and then she she beams over to Discovery
Okay. So
from the bridge.
we will cut to we'll cut to Discovery in the mess hall. And we'll do the scene change there. I've just got the bridge there because I don't have. The Discovery doesn't have a mess hall in Stowe, so we make do with what we have. Uh, but yeah, you guys, the mess hall is cleaned out, so it's just the two of you. Walks you over uh, toward the replomats and says, I'm sure this is a little less advanced than what you've got over on your ship, but we do have a pretty good menu selection, if I do say so myself.
Bianca just kind of like looks through it, and then she like, you can kind of see like the little exclamation point go up above her head. She goes, chicken tikka masala, hot, with basmati rice and naan bread.
And the computer starts processing. Chicken tikka masala, excellent source of protein and 17 minerals and nutrients. And the door whooshes open, and the smell of the Indian food just kind of wafts into your nostrils. Pike looks over to the replomat and says, "Cheeseburger." Cheeseburger. And without any other words, the computer just gives him his order.
Judgmental computer.
Ah,
And you guys kind of just have a seat like at one of the tables right in the middle of the mess hall.
she just kind of she just grins and she goes, "Oh, this takes me back."
Back to what?
Oh, during finals at the academy, there's an Indian place nearby, and they could always tell it was finals because I would order like a gallon of this stuff. Like 5 pounds of naan bread. And I would just stress eat it all throughout finals.
Authentic Indian place? Little Tibet? Right off of Golden Gate Park?
No shit, really.
Still around in the 25th century, huh?
Family-owned business, I guess I just kept passing it down.
Well, it's... As many people go to...
I mean, I knew it had been around, but I didn't realize it had been around that long.
I mean, their food is that good. I may have been there once or twice.
Wild. Yeah, well, and it was a favorite of mine before the academy, too. I was born and raised in San Francisco.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you were raised on Earth. You didn't say where.
California knows California.
California, okay. California baby myself. A little further east.
And south.
That too. Personnel file?
Well, that and the Mojave was a hotbed of aeronautical test flight activity in the pre-warp days.
True story.
And I'm a bit of a student of the history of early aeronautics and spaceflight.
I suppose compared to your ship, Discovery is early spaceflight.
Well, not to the same extent. Not like those old NX betas.
Oh, those are some museum pieces, aren't they?
Yeah. I had a poster of Jonathan Archer on my wall.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It would be just like him someday.
Well,
The
here you
pilot.
are, captain of your own starship.
Yeah, I didn't really think that the captain thing would happen. Really, but here I am.
But yeah, NX-01 Enterprise, NX-02 Columbia. Did they ever, let me know if I'm out of line for asking this, but did they ever find the Columbia?
You know I can't answer.
I know. And he just starts kind of chowing down on his cheeseburger. You guys have that quiet time where you're just in the middle of the meal. And, before you know it, it's probably been about half an hour, and he's put away the cheeseburger. You put away most of the Indian food.
Ugh. Glad I took the time to eat.
Yeah, it's
I don't think I'd eaten all day.
one of the hardest things to do as a starship captain is to remember to take care of yourself.
Self-care is important.
Yeah, that's an easy thing to say, and it's another thing altogether to follow up on. I mean, you
I'm
can
still
forget
not
about
very
getting
good at it.
you can forget about getting 8 hours of sleep. You just get to sleep when you can. And
Ain't that the truth? Ugh. Just, I haven't really been sleeping much as it is lately. It's just weighing on me, you know? And I feel like I can't tell them that.
do you have a ship's medical officer or anything like that? I mean, you got to be able
Yeah,
to talk to somebody.
yeah, I do. It's just, it's different having someone who knows what I'm talking about. You know? Up here.
Say that again.
Up here.
Yeah, that's gets lonely at the top, doesn't it?
Yeah. My good friend of mine was tactical officer, and she was recently reassigned. Ever since she left, it's been a little lonely.
It's one of the things that happens. Crew rotates in and out. Sometimes just when you've really gotten to know somebody. I'll tell you what a good doctor I've served with once told me. Two kinds of people you can really open up to on a starship are your doctor and your bartender.
Well, that's the thing. My tactical officer took the bartender with her.
Well, well, you better have a damn good doctor. If you do, he's also a bartender.
Not sure Dr. Pierce is that.
Well, Dr.
He's good
McCoy
though.
damn sure is.
He was one of the best.
Oh yeah? His name still circulate?
I,
Then I better
he
not let
says
that
what?
get back to him. He won't be able to walk out of the sick bay door. His ego will be so inflated.
Oh no, you don't. You don't get stationed on a ship like Enterprise without being the best.
Without what? Say again?
Being the best.
Pike just kind of gives you a studying look, like, and then just says, "Okay, now you're buttering me up."
Oh, it's true though.
Every ship has its own legacy, its own history, its own je ne sais quoi, its own
Yes,
personality, its own spirit. Does that make sense? Like,
This is
I've
true.
only been on the Discovery for a couple of weeks, but you get, after a little while, to feel like you can make a home on any ship, make a family out of any crew.
My mentor said something similar to me not too long ago.
I'm going to spend 2 points of threat.
Oh dear.
Bridge to Captain. Pike here, go ahead. Captain, we've had an unauthorized computer access in main engineering. On my way. Captain, if you'll excuse me, I need to get to the bottom of this.
Of course, let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
I think we got this, but if anything comes up, I'll let you know.
Of course.
And with that said, he gets up, kind of straightens out his uniform, and walks out of the mess hall.
Bianca is concerned because she doesn't recall seeing any of, like, hearing of any of this type of thing in the Discovery's logs.
Maybe it just wasn't relevant enough.
But she's still concerned.
A couple of minutes pass. The doors swoosh open, and this 5'3" young woman, ensign, with red hair going literally every direction, just kind of bursts into the mess hall, makes a beeline for the replomat. Banana split. No, ice cream sundae. No, both. And the computer just dispenses the food, and she grabs a corner table and starts just kind of chowing down. Oh my god, it's been so long since I had this. Oh my god, this is so good.
Is Bianca still there?
Yeah, unless you've had her leave, but the ensign doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Okay,
Bianca's
wait,
gonna try
hang on.
and slip out.
Oh, don't leave Tilly alone. She's stress eating.
And almost at the point where, and she's down to about a third of this banana split when she looks up and says, and seems to just at that moment realize that Bianca's there.
And Bianca knows that she's noticed her.
And she's just got her hand to her mouth, and she drops the spoon on the table, and says, "Hi, I'm Sylvia, and Centelli," and she starts sort of approaching you nervously.
Nice to meet you, Ensign.
I don't recognize the uniform, and I'm probably not supposed to be in here, and I'm just going to take my banana split and I'm just my sundae, and I'm going to go. I think
I was just leaving.
Are you sure? Because I can go.
No, I have to get back to work.
Okay. Sorry.
No. Don't be. And Bianca just kind of like puff out her cheeks and exhales slowly as she like is like, okay, gotta get out of here.
Right, there are other people on the ship. Are we dead? Can Jonas and I have a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally have a thing.
Beck, where are you doing this?
Let's say the after.
Let's say, okay, you're going to need to repeat that because you cut out early.
Sorry. Mess hall after shift.
Okay.
If you're cool with that, Journey.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow, the little bookmark thing actually went where I wanted it to. Nice.
Yay!
All right, we're going to do another scene change here. So,
And 19 is drinking some tea. Actually has like a half-eaten piece of chicken and some potatoes in front of.
knowing that Journey's been wrestling with chickens all day today in real life, you choose to eat chicken. That's a very nice touch. Bravo.
Yep.
There's slight judgment.
Slight judgment.
Is that
And-
slight with finger quotes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
slight judgment.
and is just kind of so you kind of met or saw, I don't the visit to the Romulan ship was difficult.
I can imagine.
And you kind of, I'm just, she has a life here, and people know her and are connected to her. What?
So do you. You have this ship and everyone on it who's connected to you, and you have your own life here.
No, I know that, but there shouldn't be two of us in the same place. Universally, it's problematic.
If anyone can tell you about the problematic nature of having two individuals from separate universes in the same universe, it would be me. But I'm fine with it.
You might be fine with it. Technically, there are 3 of you, or 2 of you in this universe who temporal displacement makes things complicated. Regardless, you may feel alright. And it may not be an occurrence because of the nature of my universe being what it is. What I mean is, this is her universe. Me being here, regardless of everything, makes things complicated.
How do you mean? Are you going to try and take over her life?
19 actually like awkwardly giggles and then kind of covers their face and like looks really embarrassed. I'm experiencing temporal aphasia.
I'm assuming Jonas would know what that is.
Let's have you do a reason medicine check. I'm going to set the difficulty. I'm going to set the difficulty at 2.
I don't have any focuses that would apply here.
Mm-mm.
Would it? Yeah. Okay.
You could assist.
Okay.
It'll be reason medicine for you as well, and your neurology focus would apply. Two successes, nicely done.
Wow.
Temporal aphasia is a disorder of the nervous system that occurs as a result of, typically it recurs as a result of time travel, time shifting. It's not, it does seem to be dependent on the nature of the time travel used, because not all time travelers experience temporal aphasia. It's usually connected to when a person exists in 2 or more places in the same timeline simultaneously.
With this information, would Jonas know whether or not this is treatable and or lethal?
It is treatable. The long-term effects, however, include schizophrenia and death. And the treatment only goes so far. You would have to either spend a momentum or consult with somebody who is far more versed in temporal mechanics to get more information.
Where the hell's Ted when you need him?
Well,
Not
he's
in this
probably off
universe.
flirting with some counselor somewhere. Have you talked to anyone about this? Have you told anyone?
I've told you.
That's a good start. How about the doctor?
Dr. Pierce is a psychiatrist. I am a specialist in neurology.
But since you haven't started treating yourself,
There is currently no way to end the effects of temporal aphasia. If it goes unchecked, it will develop into temporal psychosis. And, well,
and how exactly would you end the effects of this?
either I leave this universe, I cease to exist in this universe, or I am temporally integrated with this universe's Naale.
What does that mean?
We become one person.
Why can't you be temporally aligned by yourself without affecting her?
It's the definition or the usage of the term temporal is incorrect. It's because of the dimensional shift. And because I exist in a closed loop timeline, this timeline doesn't exist in my universe. Though it's remembered, it's a false memory. I'm existing out of time, both within this universe and extraneously.
Jonas, given your success on the previous roll, one additional thing that you're picking up, kind of through your Elarian sense, is the universe itself eventually will reject 19.
Yeah.
Like the timeline itself will start attempting to make corrections with potentially disastrous effects.
Yeah, anyone want to look up that report on when there were 2 Tanays?
Jonas will go a little pale and rub his face. And have you talked to the other you about this?
I was preparing a report and request for assistance when we were attacked.
Well, you have any and all of my skills that are available. I'll help you any way I can.
Well, I appreciate that. There's not much I can do. I can attempt to somehow create a stable quantum temporal field around myself so that I exist when I'm supposed to, while being in the past. What I'm concerned about is another universal jump.
Yeah, the universe itself trying to fix what's wrong.
And from the small amounts of research that I know of the mycelial network, I took some time to take a brief regenerative cycle and recall the information that the board made contact with the which, well, it could have been helpful at the time, and it may still be helpful in this trip, means that the Borg, in some way, on initial contact, thought that it was useful. Though the life forms, if there are any within that network, may not be viable or relevant, the collective saw some sort of interest in that network.
I see. How dangerous is it going to be for you if we jump to the mirror universe?
I'm not sure.
Would we need to put you in some kind of protective stasis?
That would be possible. Putting me into some sort of unconscious state in a stasis tube, or locking me in a somewhat functioning stasis field so that I can still remain in contact with the ship should anything arise. Could be possible. But it may kill me.
I'm going to assume this is why you haven't talked to the captain yet?
Yes.
You know, she's either going to suggest the same thing I did, or she's going to order you onto a different ship for the time being while we jump.
I'm aware. I'm just concerned that if I am on this ship and I do survive, and things somehow turn out all right, when we get back to our proper time, something needs to be done with me.
Do you have a preference to what that would be? I know I do.
What would you prefer?
I would prefer you not to be dead or be sent back to a universe that doesn't exist anymore.
Integration with this universe's Naale is the most emotionally sound and currently logical and astrophysically possible preferences and possibilities.
Okay, but what happens to you?
I, in so much as it is physically possible, cease to exist.
So you and Nale of this universe become a completely new, unique individual, but at the same time losing both of you, in a sense.
Correct.
It's like Tuvix 2.0.
You know, I really don't like that. I really don't. Is there no...
Tuvix was murdered.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
We would be a single person. And we would have two different memories for a while. Eventually, my memories will drift and become aligned with this universe. I will no longer remember, in some ways, my experiences as a Borg.
So it's... You die during the jump, you survive the jump, but come back and either die eventually from going insane or meld with your current universal self to form a completely new being and at some point cease to exist as you are right now.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
All of those choices suck.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't know if I can ask her to do that, because she also stops being who she is. She has a life, and I have a life, and they're two very different lives. What would we do? Who would we be? Like, am I a doctor or a politician? Am I Naale 19 Arenhay? I take her life. Or she takes mine. One of us loses.
No, we all lose.
So my choices are return to a collective that is irrelevant, remain here and become displaced, jump universes and become displaced, or deactivate myself. Or hope I survive.
Well, there's always hope. You just have to find it.
I want to make it back so that something can be done.
Well, then we'll take every precaution. We will do the thing that I mentioned. We will put you in behind some kind of protective barrier or something so that you aren't as affected by the transition into a new universe.
All right. That's good. And then I bet I'm just concerned that Starfleet, in its temporally meddling manner, will make a mistake when I get back.
Well, all I can say about that is we'll get there when we get there, but it won't matter if we don't reach that point.
Well, I appreciate that, and regardless of who I become or what happens, thank you for being my friend.
You don't have to thank me for being your friend. I'm very happy to be your friend.
I thought the etiquette is...
So, what was that last part?
Etiquette is strange.
Yeah, in some places it's very strange.
I'm already experiencing some symptoms of everything.
Alright, then I guess we don't need to waste any more time. I suggest we go speak to the captain and then get you somewhere.
Mm. Remind me when we eventually get back to 24. When was it?
2411.
No, 19's asking that in
Oh.
character.
2411.
Thank you. Remind me to see if Dr. Bashir kept my chronometric implant. Removing it may have also. Words are difficult at the moment.
Alright, let's go see the captain. And I'll remind you, don't worry.
Okay.
So
on
I
that-
guess you're gonna pay. Oh
Oh, go ahead.
no, I just realized that was happening while everything was happening with Bianca.
Yeah,
So
basically. But
start life.
by this point, Bianca might be back on the Dauntless. Captain, what say you?
I don't know. Are you gonna drop any more threat to keep me from getting back to the Dauntless?
Nope.
I figure she like finds a transporter room and just kind of is like,
Yeah. Or even
Yeah.
like a quiet hallway or storage closet or something. She was like,
right.
beam me back up.
But you beamed over one of their Mopton buckets while you were at it.
Well, donate it to a museum.
It belongs in a museum.
No.
It belongs in the Discovery!
You don't understand. They could have been boarded at some point, and someone could have used that mop to defend themselves.
That's right, it's the butterfly effect. But transporting that mop and bucket, you have unmade the Federation.
All because
We can
Tilly
beam
could
them
not use it to play guitar.
Oh, God. Alright, so
Bro.
we go to find the cap.
Okay. Who by this point is probably in her quarters?
Was that a yes? I heard like a beep and then.
Sorry. Yes.
All right, so beep beep beep.
Come in. Now Bianca has showered and is basically like in tank top and pajama pants.
Jonas will let 19 walk ahead of him.
19 will very slowly and somewhat clumsily make their way to a.
Captain, we have a slight problem.
What's going on?
19 is suffering from temporal aphasia.
Yeah, once we have this spore drive secured, we'll be heading back to our
It's not. It's incorrectly named in this.
Captain, if we jump with the spore drive to the mirror universe, we could potentially kill 19 if she's not protected in some way.
That would follow.
I had an idea of maybe shielding her somehow, but I'm not any sort of expert on temporal mechanics or temporal shielding.
I'll have Safik start working on something.
And like 19 is basically going to give you the very quick rundown of like everything that was explained to Jonah.
Bianca just sits there and nods and kind of takes it in patiently.
Now, for what it's worth, Dauntless does have temporal shielding installed. It was fitted on most of the fleet when the temporal Cold War became a hot war briefly in 2410.
Would that shielding be adequately enough to protect 19?
Not by itself. A second layer of shielding, however, might. And even Dauntless's temporal shielding probably does serve to mitigate the effects. Going
Well,
back
definitely.
to 2411 might also help.
Well, yes, we're gonna have to go back anyway. But yeah, no, Bianca's just gonna reassure 19 that we're going to be going back soon, and then and that we'll look at trying to get like a personal temporal shield for 19
Yep.
until we can find a more permanent solution.
Again,
Thank you for
it'll
bringing
help.
this to my attention. Yeah. Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
I just am a little bit annoyed that I might miss a trip to the mirror universe or cannot help in the endeavor.
It would certainly be to our detriment if we couldn't have you, but I'm determined to bring you along because I'm going to need you.
Well, I may be slightly and you just get this kind of awkward, like, side look. Imperfect these next few days.
Even at your imperfect, you're still stellar.
Aww.
Aw. Jonas is going to laugh. The captain's right.
Now we just have to hook up the spore drive and make the jump, or
The spore drive's hooked up.
yeah, but we haven't
need to
hooked
go
up
back to
the
2411. We haven't made any test jumps.
All right, so are we going to use the quantum slipstream to return back to?
I think we've done all we can here.
Very well. If it's all right with you, I'm going to have Dr. Pierce place me in a stasis while we make the jump.
Will do. Are we going back to 2411 and then jumping to the mirror universe? Because I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
That's what I was assuming we were doing. And with that, and if I'm allowed, I'm gonna leave and make my way to sick.
Okay.
And I need to let everyone know that I need to bow out for the night, guys.
Okay. Hey, thanks for
Okay.
joining us tonight, Brian. Appreciate
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for doing this.
See ya. Good luck with your jump, you crazy bastards.
it.
Jonas can make it.
Nate.
Right? If anyone can cross universes, R.L. Orion could do it.
When 19 leaves the room, Jonas is going to stay behind for a moment.
Mhm.
Captain.
My lieutenant?
Yes, apparently 19 mentioned that one of the only ways that they could exist after all of this is done is by aligning themselves with the current themselves of the universe. Effectively effectively killing both of them and creating a new person.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Because,
Yeah, that's...
kind of one thing at a time right now. But thank you for giving me the heads up.
Hi, Captain. I'll head to my quarters and try and get some sleep.
Do.
Good night, Captain.
Good night.
And I'll go to my quarters. But I'm not actually gonna sleep yet. I'm gonna, when I get to my quarters, I'm going to pull up everything I can on that's available to me from our database on temporal shielding and mechanics.
Okay.
To give myself a bit of extra information.
There's quite a bit available, considering, like I said earlier, the Dauntless has temporal shielding installed on the ship. And during these during this time travel stuff, I'm assuming you guys have had that active. But tell me if that's not the case.
I think it would have to, or Jonas would be nauseous 24/7.
Possibly.
Join me in hell.
But yeah, I would assume we would have that, just at least for the added protection of time traveling and everything. But yeah, I would like to spend a few hours reading as much as I possibly can on temporal mechanics, on temporal shielding, to give myself a bit of an edge if I need to help 19 with any of this.
Okay. So you start reading, and you basically download it onto a pad and are just reading that. And you don't recall exactly where you leave off when you eventually do fall asleep. And we're going to go ahead and advance time to the next shift. So we'll do a scene change there. All systems down in engineering are reporting ready in terms of the spore drive, so you guys are probably in as good a position as you're going to be.
All right.
I'll be right back. I have to use the little GM's room.
Same here. I will be right back.
Okay.
Oh. Hello?
Everything is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Turns out having two of the same person in the same timeline is bad.
Yep. True story.
And when you try and fix it, it's a no-win scenario. It's basically like, oh, would you like multiple personality?
I would assume the integration would not create more problems.
No.
Like the person who is a result of the temporal integration would be one person, one personality, who would have the memories of
both.
individuals. And so the one personality would probably be an amalgam of the two.
And then it's just, okay, whose life goes down the toilet because of...
Well, neither, because you have you've had the life experience of both.
No, I know, but...
Although, let's be real, 19 wouldn't have had much of a future as a Borg anyway.
I mean, more personally, like...
Say again?
I mean, personally, like, Naale could not do her job, or 19 do their job at the same time. Like, one of the people, it has to stop doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a person with... It's gonna be a person with a wide range of subjects to just know.
Yeah.
And everything. It's just a case of, I had 2 life experiences, now they're integrated, and then it'll sometimes just be like, wait, which one was the real one?
Both.
Both, but...
Yep. So were we waiting on Sarah?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm going to take her silence as a yes.
I might have a use for my saved spotlight.
Oh, yeah?
I might switch out my focuses for what is it? For transporters and replicators, and put in temporal mechanics.
Yeah?
I mean, because after this, that's going to be a huge thing. He doesn't want 19 to go away. That's his friend.
Right? Yeah. No one wants 19 to go away.
19's not going anywhere.
And we definitely don't want a Tuvix event.
Technically, that's the only real option. And it's going to be the one that 19 vies for.
Eventually.
Yeah,
we'll
right
milk
now...
this for as much pain as we can first.
Jonas becomes expert in all-time shenanigans to try and save his friend.
19 really, really likes Stamets, and it's just like, you would have made a good drone.
Oh, God. It's a compliment in their mind, but probably just as well they didn't say it out loud.
No, like, that's 19's pickup line.
No.
Your biological distinctiveness would have made you into an excellent tactic. Borg pickup line.
Sorry it took me so long, guys.
No, it's okay. Hey, look,
No,
I'm never going to complain about how long it takes a woman to use the restroom.
Well, bless you, child.
Well, been married a while, long enough to know better. Okay.
Story.
All right, so we resume the beginning of the next duty shift on the bridge of the Dauntless.
All right. Are we like testing this thing? Are we just peacing out?
That is entirely up to y'all.
Test the drive. Test the...
Yes, definitely.
Are you in a shielded area, 19?
Test the drive.
We're just gonna jump across the system, I think. I don't think we're gonna go far.
Okay. Are you guys gonna let the Discovery crew know what you're doing, or
Yeah, go
yeah?
ahead and hail him.
Okay. Discovery here. Go ahead.
All right, we're getting ready to test the spore drive. We're just gonna jump to the other side of the system.
Okay. We stand ready to assist if you need it.
All right, Dauntless out.
All right. This is going to be difficulty 3, Control Con. The Dauntless may assist using Structure Con. Actually, no, I'm going to say Computers Con.
Who's piloting?
You are.
Okay,
You're
just
gonna-
making
you're
sure. Would I'm assuming one of my would astronavigation apply here?
Yes, or Helm Operations.
Okay, so essentially, I'm still driving the ship. I'm just driving it in a different way.
A much different way, yes.
Okay.
You're essentially, it's, if you're familiar with the book Flatland, you are a Flatlander about to take this ship into the 3rd dimension.
I am not, but I will completely buy what you're saying.
Okay.
All right, Bianca says, all right, all hands, this is the captain. Black alert.
Black alert. Black alert.
Oh, we have no momentum. Okay, that's all right. Nope, I have cautious. Okay, all right. Let's hope I get this.
If not, I mean,
Can
you can
Bianca
take, you
assist
can buy die
using the
with,
direct?
you can assist with direct, yes.
And that lets me re-roll a die, right?
Yes, it does.
Plus, it allows
Okay.
her to assist using using Control Command.
Okay. Steph, do you want to roll for the ship then?
What is it?
It's going to be Computers Con for the Dauntless.
Okay.
All right, would my composure or inspiration focus apply?
We'll say Inspiration.
Okay.
2 successes. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 6 successes. Nicely done, everybody. The scene abruptly changes for a millisecond, or well, for just like 100th of a second. You catch a glimpse of something on the view screen that you have never seen before. Just like branches of space-time spreading in every direction. And then just as quickly, that image is gone, and you're seeing the planet that you were orbiting from the opposite side, of the planet.
I have a question. When we jumped, did Jonas feel? No, he's not actively listening, but did he feel anything when they jumped?
For a moment, he felt a brief sense of euphoria. Like, for just that brief moment, Jonas felt connected to every place in every universe, and it was almost it was too fast to really catch it hold of, but it's like it's almost like an orgasm, or like a taste of chocolate. You want it again. Like, you just know for that 100th of a second, it was the most intense, most beautiful thing that you have ever felt.
As soon as we reappear on the other side of the planet, Jonas is going to swear very colorfully in Elarian, which I don't know if the translators would understand or not.
They do.
Okay, he is basically going on about, holy fucking shit, that was amazing.
How much stress damage do I take?
None.
Okay, cool.
Because we didn't jump to a different universe. We just jumped to another side of the system.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if like going through the network would have done anything.
Nope. You guys aren't in it for long enough for starters.
Captain, did you feel that?
I don't know, did she?
Felt a little disoriented. It was like a transporter effect, but hundreds of times faster. You were just 1 minute you were on one side of the system, the next second you weren't. And there was a flash of something on the view screen in between, but you didn't really catch a good look at what it was.
If you
Feel
look
a
at
little
like-
dizzy.
Already the memory of it is kind of starting to fade. For Jonas, however, it's much more visceral.
Jonas is
Like he really feels like that's where he is meant to be.
very flushed and he's heavy breathing, and for the looks of it, you would either say he just had a really good time somewhere or he just ran a marathon and looks really pleased with himself.
Are you all right, Lieutenant?
I have no idea, but that was amazing.
I'll take your word for it.
Jonas becomes addicted to the job.
Oh, that was better than my last boyfriend.
Oh my.
I
Bianca's sensing this off of him too, like, oh.
Yeah, you felt like that before, but not during any sort of space travel.
Don't worry,
Okay.
19 will conduct large amounts of scans.
Well, what?
Conduct large amounts of scans later.
Copious
Of course.
scanning ensues.
For science.
You guys are getting a hail from the Discovery.
On screen.
Captain West, this is Captain Pike. Everything good on your end?
I think so. I mean, we're gonna have to, do some diagnostics, make sure nothing's amiss, but looks good here.
Hell of an experience the first time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's saying something else.
I'll say.
All right, well, we've just got a call. We've got to head out system. But I know we're not allowed to know where you guys, well, we may never know the outcome of your mission. But our thoughts and our prayers are with you. Godspeed.
Thank you.
Discovery out. And on the sensors, Discovery sensor signature blips out, just disappears.
Do we see it do the spinny thing and then shoo?
No, because you guys are on the other side of the system, so you just see it vanish off of sensors.
Theirs looks so much cooler up close.
Yeah,
Ours just
Dauntless
vibrates really fast back and forth.
Dauntless viewed from the exterior doesn't do the spinny; it just drops.
Ah. I'm assuming I'm probably either staying in my quarters or actually I'd probably stay in sick bay because then I can at least do.
You can something to take your mind off of it and possibly
Yeah,
seek medical attention if you need to.
yeah. Did I feel it when we jumped? Like, how did?
You felt displaced, uh, but it felt just like it felt with Bianca. It felt like a transporter effect, only instantaneous.
Okay, like it didn't hurt. I didn't like black out. And
No blacking out, no pain, uh, no adverse reaction
okay,
that you can diagnose in yourself.
all right. So I will touch my
Test your what?
touch my com badge. 19 to the bridge.
Bridge here.
It seems it was a successful test, Captain.
I'm gonna call it one.
If anyone seems to suffer adverse effects or anything odd, please send them.
Will do.
Anything odd.
But
That kid doesn't know how these jumps like what. Also,
And,
Captain, if
Oh, no, go ahead.
if it is possible for you to send me the sensor logs as you did the jump, I would be very interested. I cannot recall much information on the Borg's interaction.
Will do.
Nerd time, sensory.
While we're sitting there, is it possible to go ahead and work on the secondary shielding for the entire medical bay?
It is probably something that you could get started once you guys are back in Slipstream.
Yeah, I'd like to Jonas would like to get that up and running as soon as possible. Also,
Right.
60 to 90 seconds. Oh my god!
Jonas is gonna turn into a puddle. He's just gonna be a puddle on the.
Bianca's just gonna say, Lieutenant Cardin set a course of the 25th century. Prep the quantum slipstream drive.
Captain. Will do. He's still a bit pink and a bit flushed and his hair's disheveled, but he looks ready to go.
He had a wild 1500 milliseconds, or 150 milliseconds.
Do I need to roll anything for Slipstream?
Yes. It'll be basically the same roll that we did before. The difficulty is also going to be 3 here, because you guys are doing time travel.
Alright, I would like to take a momentum for cautious.
You've got it to do. Yep.
Damn. Okay, sorry.
No worries. If Bianca wants to assist, she'll have to do it with con. You can't. You've used your direct action for this scene.
Yes, I will use the con.
Okay. And Dauntless will roll structure con. Bianca rolling the good rolls tonight. Holy shit, y'all.
Only pike rolls though.
Oh, great. That's
Hey,
7 successes, which tops you guys out on momentum.
Nice, and we're gonna need that maybe.
Yeah, and Dauntless enters temporal slipstream.
Okay. While we're in Slipstream, who would I work with to try and set up the temporal shielding for 19?
Probably Dash.
Okay. Captain, permission to go see Dash?
Granted.
Thank you, Captain. I'm gonna pet my console and then walk over to the turbo lift.
Okay, you hop in, head down toward engineering. I assume that's where you're going, yes?
Yes.
Let's see here. Okay.
Oh, new slipstream thing. That's cool.
Yeah. Yep, just grabbed that earlier tonight.
Ooh. Oh, also, 19 would have followed Stamets' advice and immediately started making a hydroponics.
Good call. Yeah, it'll take one of the canisters, and it'll take some time for the mycelium spores to grow. Probably not all that much time though. Probably just a couple of days.
Congratulations, Stamets! You have created a Xenobot. 19's face just up against the wall, just like scanning every 5 seconds.
um, it's a pretty interesting rate of growth. This stuff grows about as fast as it takes from a banana to go from ripe to brown. So it's pretty fast.
Or an avocado to go from soft to like impossible.
Yep, exactly.
All right. And if they could, 19 would also try and assist as best they can with the temporal.
Okay. Down in engineering, you get down there, Jonas, and Dash sees you come in and takes a step away from the console that he was working on and says, "Lieutenant Carden, what can I do for you?"
Dash,
Slipstream doing everything okay for you right now?
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, man.
And the spore drive?
No. The spore drive was very interesting.
Like, interesting in a bad way? Or interesting
better than sex kind of way?
You see like a confused Dalton head peer around like a corner.
For a second, Dash's brow furrows, and he's like, and then he says, "You mean in the way that's kind of like putting a warp engine together with your bare hands, that sort of way?"
Yes.
Oh, nice. I get
it was only for like milliseconds, but like there's just like a little shiver down Jonas's spine. He's like, anyway,
yeah.
I came to see you if you could help me with creating a secondary temporal shielding for the medical bay for 19's protection.
Oh yeah, no sweat. We've got temporal shielding on the Dauntless, temporal shielding on that data core that's in Cargo Bay 2. Yeah, we can fix Sick Bay up, no problem. Just give me an hour and a half, and yeah, I'll have it up and running for you.
There's a temporally shielded
there's a temporally shielded data core.
Why?
Does Jonas know that that's supposed to be there? Is this a normal thing?
Yeah, is that normal?
Nope.
Dash, why is there a temporally shielded data core on in the cargo bay?
Funny story, Dash says, as you guys are walking back toward the turbolift to go up to sickbay. He says, "We were exploring in the Carina Nebula and got a distress signal from a USS Dauntless. And before we knew it, we had a temporally shielded data core. I'm not entirely sure how it got there myself, even though I'm pretty sure I built it."
That's fascinating.
Right?
Wait, do I remember this? Oh no, that was before I joined.
That was before 19's time.
Has anyone tried to access it?
Oh yeah, the DTI was crawling all over it about 5 months ago.
Did they share the contents with you?
No. They're DTI. Do they ever share anything with anybody?
Are we allowed to look at it, or are we supposed to leave it alone?
Well, I haven't touched it. If you want to fiddle with it, I'd probably ask the captain.
As soon as he says that, I'm going to tap my comm badge.
Yeah, You see 19's hand, like, right above there.
Lieutenant Carden to Captain West.
Captain West here.
Captain, with your permission, I would like to investigate the temporally shielded computer core in our cargo bay.
I don't see why not.
We're currently in a time stream. I'm not sure that directive applies in the time stream.
I'm just gonna say, just don't try to access any information off of it.
Of course, Captain. I'm just curious.
If you think it could help come up with some other temporal shielding, then go ahead. But
I
we
would like to
haven't
get as
gone
many
into
advantages
detail
as possible.
on that data core for a reason.
Aye, Captain. So yeah, once they get to the floor where the medical bay is and Dash gets off, Jonas is gonna take the shuttle, the turbo lift to turbo lift to the cargo bay.
Okay.
I guess I'm with them.
Okay.
Because I'm very curious about this as well.
I would have like calmed you and invited you.
Fair enough. I'm actually going to retcon this a little bit. We'll call it Cargo Bay 3 instead of Cargo Bay 2 because I have a set piece for Cargo Bay 3.
Is that where I sleep? Is that just like in one of my closets?
No, it's not in one of your closets. It's in a nondescript area on the opposite side of the cargo bay. Just kind of chilling, doing its own thing. And I mean, it looks like a piece of standard Starfleet issue computer equipment. So it's one of those, like, you walk by a console 15 times a day, you never really pay attention to what it does.
And then you try and access it, and it's like a backdoor into the God program.
Not quite, but close.
Yeah. So I'm assuming once I get there and I look at it, I can easily tell it doesn't belong.
It was not. It doesn't quite sync up with the rest of the ship, if that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Dawn, I sent you a question.
Okay, let me take a look at that.
Well, I know it doesn't belong here, but it does look like it belongs here.
So, are we not supposed to look at the information on the inside?
What were the captain's express orders on this?
Don't look at any information on it.
Okay. Well, she said not to look at any information on it. But I don't want to do that. I just want to... I don't know. It feels weird, like there's something... I don't know, have you ever experienced one of those things where you know that you should look at something even though there's no plausible reason for you to look at it?
As you turn to talk 1919's already like working on unlocking.
Working on a what?
Working on unlocking the computer system. He like looks up and 19's like fingers are on the keys.
I'm monologuing and you're breaking the rules.
The information within this core could pertain to any number of things. It could provide the answer to some of my problems.
Well, we're not allowed to look at the information, but if there is a directory that we can look at before it takes us to the information, that wouldn't be breaking the captain's rule.
Neither would downloading the information.
Oh my god. Oh.
This is your fault for mentioning it, Dawn.
At this, I'm going to spend 2 threat.
Oh, good.
Oh god.
And Jonas, you just feel like someone took a drill to the side of your head. It's just a momentary pain, but for that instant, it is searing, blinding pain.
Jonas will hit his knees from that because he was not prepared at all.
Do I also feel this, or is it just Jonah?
It is just Jonas. But you also
I'm
hear
gonna-
the yellow alert klaxon.
Oh, good.
He's
I'm
clutching. His hands are clutching the sides of his head, and
And
He's not-
there's a signal indicator on this temporally shielded data core.
Oops. What's the signal?
A new record has been added.
That's what it says?
It says a new record. The signal indicates a new record has been added. Are you asking what the
Can I-
record says?
Yeah, like what it's exactly referring to. Like, is it referring to the fact that like someone tried to break in? Is it
No,
referring to like?
it is referring to a new record that has been created in the data core to indicate a change in the timeline.
Oh,
Personnel record update. The captain of the USS Dauntless is Captain Bosch Anjar.
what? Oh wait, I'm in pain on the ground. Excuse
What?
me.
yeah.
The first officer of the USS Dauntless is Commander Dash Bavjar.
Did you erase me?
No, because you are very much still there, Bianca. The ship's yellow alert klaxon has gone off, but otherwise the bridge is operating as normal.
Dash, get Jonas to sickbay.
I thought Dash would have been left at sickbay to work on the
Dash
temporal-
was in sickbay, so
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought he was.
Dash transporter room. Emergency transport from Cargo Bay 3 to sickbay. Personnel Jonas Carden. And the transporter effect grabs you, Jonas, and you are in sickbay.
Oh,
Sorry for transporting
shit.
you.
What is a control check?
Yeah, Jonas, I forgot. I didn't think.
I know I'm in pain, and that's a whole lot of
Well,
pain. But
it was a momentary pain. Like it went away as quickly as it came.
oh, okay. Still, I
So
would've hit-
so
yeah,
by the time you are transported to sickbay, the pain is gone.
okay, that's fine. But I have a phobia of being transported.
So control check would be control command. We'll make the difficulty 2. I'm
I'm
gonna
assuming I have
spend-
no focuses here.
No focus, and I'm going to spend 2 threat to increase your complication range to 3.
Oh shit! Okay, sorry for the language. That is my target number is 15. That's not too bad.
Fuck language. You're good here.
And my target number is blah
Two.
blah.
Difficulty 2.
2. Okay. 2. I'm just gonna roll. I'm not gonna take any moment.
Okay. Got it.
Hey,
So,
did it.
momentary shaking and sudden outbreaking of sweat on your head as you realize that you've just gone through a transporter without like without consent or without even knowing it was going to happen. And
not getting
but
trapped.
just as quickly, it's over. It's done, and you're out of the transporter beam, and you can breathe.
I'm assuming I got teleported onto a med bed.
Yeah, you're on a bed.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna just do that like panicky thing that people do, that where they like rock back and forth a little bit,
Hmm.
and trying to not hyperventilate.
Okay. Then you're in
Immediately
control.
the EMH like runs over to you.
Yeah. You're in control of your faculties. Like you
Okay,
made
that's fine.
you made the composure check. It's just so like it is quite the series of events, but it didn't break you. Like
Yep.
you made it through, and the self-talk in your mind right now is positive. Like, okay, wasn't expecting that, but I made it through. I'm okay. I'm breathing, and your pulse is going down. Your blood pressure is going back to normal.
Okay, I'm okay. That was fine. I'm good. Okay.
And before you know it, Dr. Pierce is over you with a tricorder saying, "What's the emergency? What are your symptoms?"
There was a sharp pain in the side of my head, and uh, it felt like someone was drilling something into the side of my head, and then I was here. Emergency transport.
Okay, he's still going over you with the tricorder. He says, "I don't detect any readings out of the ordinary."
Meanwhile, I'm watching the names on the log.
You're watching the names, and there is no trace of Bianca West's name in the starship's personnel records.
19 to Captain West.
West here.
I'm at the computer in Cargo Bay 3.
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling all right, Captain?
As far as I know. Why?
I don't know if we hit a small pocket or something, but this computer is registering a temporal incursion. That's basically what
type
it
of
was,
incursion?
right?
Slipstream exit in 10 seconds.
You
Yes.
don't exist
What?
on the ship records. You're not here. Bosch is in charge. I don't know. Are we supposed to be leaving Slipstream in 10 seconds?
Yes.
Okay.
Exiting Slipstream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Dauntless emerges from Slipstream in the Felithrate system, or the Felithrine system. And there are 3 contacts on sensors.
Oh my god!
Why do you stop?
Why do you do this for good?
And that is where we are going to leave it for tonight.
No!